Right. You kind of like it here and there. That's okay. If someone calls you an old Karen, you call in and explain why.
What's the male term for Karen? Is there one? I used to just play around and say like
Keith or
Craig,
Bob.
Keith, Bob. I haven't heard those. Keith is smooth. It sounds similar. I guess I've turned into a Keith though, because I mean, look, when I was younger, me and my brother used to get reckless with fireworks. We used to get bottle rockets, and we used to like shoot them into the road while cars were driving. I probably shouldn't say that. Terrible idea. Kids, don't do that. It's definitely very dangerous. But we used to like, there's like a road right near our apartments, and there's like a little dip, and we used to hide in the dip and just like light off these like bottle rockets. It was the dumbest thing, and honestly very dangerous. Like, I feel like an idiot even saying this, but we all were kids once, right? What are they called? Roman candles. We used to have the Roman candle wars. We used to light them and you shoot them at each other. Again, do not do any of this. It's just dumb stuff we used to do when we were young. And then my brother topped it off and honestly did probably the most ridiculous thing. You know those like the big fireworks chase that come with the tube, and you put like the coconut looking things, or like the peanut shaped fireworks in them, and they shoot up. They're big fireworks. Have you seen those before?
Yeah, I've seen those before.
Okay, so why you've seen them? Well, he had a bright idea that he was just going to take those and not put them in the tube where they're supposed to go. That way they launch vertically in the air. But he had the bright idea that he was going to put them in anything he could find that could potentially explode for fun. For example, the vending machine at the rec center near where we used to live. Again, I mean, the craziest thing, I mean, like, my brother's just nuts, man. When we were younger, obviously. But yeah, I've gotten to a point, guys, where I'm kind of over that stuff. It was cool while it lasted, but now I'm just like, I can do without it. But anyway, I guess I'm a Keith, Karen, whatever you want to call it, because now I'm like, I want to watch fireworks briefly. I don't even really shoot them myself like I used to. And then when I'm tired and everything's done with, I'm ready to go to bed. But I don't know why. What about you? Are you over all that? Or are you still in that phase where you live for the explosions, you love it, you're cool with all that?
My brother and I, we used to shoot them off at one another a ton when we were younger. I'm kind of over it now though. Like, I'm do the big fireworks show. I'm going over to my buddy's lake house, and so we'll watch all the big fireworks display there. But then after that, I'm done with it. Now I got a dog, and he gets really skittish around fireworks. So the sooner we can stop shooting those off, the more I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. The dogs, I feel bad for the dogs. Then obviously, if there's any veterans or anybody out there that or people have family like that, I can only imagine how difficult that might be hearing that all night. But I don't know. I guess it comes with age, maturity, man. Again, I used to live for as a kid. I used to love this time of year. Like, I used to love going and buying firecrackers and doing all the mischievous crap we just talked about, which people are probably surprised when they think of me. They're like, "Oh, you wouldn't do that." But I'm like, "Hey, man, I was a kid once, and I used to have fun with that kind of stuff." But obviously, you grow up, and then once you get to a certain point, man, you're like, "Yeah, I'm a little over that." See, just like that, you hear one of my dogs barking. That's exactly what I'm going to hear all night tomorrow as fireworks are going off. Unfortunately, we are presented by the Good Feet Store, America's art sport experts. Make sure you guys check them out. Try before you buy. Nothing to lose. Again, they are your home for those premium art supports that are designed to eliminate and alleviate all types of pain, whether it's foot pain, knee pain, back pain, you name it, they will take care of it. As simple as putting them right there in your shoes, boots, whatever the case may be. They will knock out that pain in just 4 short weeks. Again, Midtown Village is where you can find them here in Tuscaloosa, right off of McFarland. Or you can always go to their website right here, as you guys can see on the stream, goodfeet.com to schedule an appointment or find the nearest location to you or more information. Again, that is the Good Feet Store, improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time, just like we try to do for you guys right here, 2 hours at a time on the show. Yesterday, we got into a number of things, a lot of recruiting. We turned into a recruiting watch party show. That was fun. Got the big commitment from Cedarian Morgan. A lot of people really excited about him. Obviously, really talented guy, a guy that offers you something different at that wide receiver spot we haven't really seen in quite some time here at the University of Alabama. That size and ability to work his body, contort his body to make a lot of catches. Got to be excited about that. That being said, today we got a number of things to talk about. Why I made a story he put out there. We've been talking about the quarterbacks around the league, around the country. Well, you got some Heisman odds. We'll take a look at those Heisman odds, continue the quarterback conversation, build off what we've been doing. We will kind of recap where things stand with Coach DeBoer, Alabama football, and recruiting. Again, Alabama football not atop of the recruiting rankings just yet, definitely on the verge of that, but they are ahead of a lot of other schools when it comes to 5-star talent and a number of other things. So we will discuss a little bit more recruiting today, as you guys love to do. And as always, got to encourage you guys, 205-342-9904 is the number to the program. Make sure you guys hit us up. We're looking to talk with you guys. Go anywhere you guys want to go and everywhere. Plus, we are streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook, so you guys can check us out here, interact in the chat, come hang out with us, watch the show, get the visual, all that good stuff. You guys know the drill. That being said, we're going to hit our first time out. We come back, we get rolling right here on this Thursday edition, July 4th Eve edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
The Tide 100.9 WTBC 1230 Sports Radio studio is presented by B-Dry Alabama. B-Dry Waterproofing. Online at bdryalabama.com.
The American Cowboy is everything that makes this country great.
There's a freedom to being a cowboy.
Being a cowgirl is not a safe, easy path, but it's one that's very rewarding.
The American Cowgirl is dedicated to her livestock, she's dedicated to her country, and she's dedicated to her family.
The American Cowboy is honest.
What's going on, guys? Justin, Brock, Q, C, Southern, Mike, what's going on? Let's see. Anybody know where we're at in recruiting class, recruiting sense? All these guys committed this week. It's a great question, Mike. I want to say we're right outside the top 5. Let's see. I'll pull it up for you guys now. I want to say outside the top 5, but moving on up, there are a couple other guys scheduled to commit soon. On3 has us at 7. Excuse me. Q says just announce your choice.
And if your budget is $200,
boots on the ground. Look, I just was having fun with that yesterday, guys. I mean, look, we all know people are going to enjoy those things, and as they should, man. It's a big moment. It's a big moment. I've always been one of the ones, man. Let the attention be on the young men and women that are doing the commitments, right? I was just having fun with that, though. But she had her fan ready, though. They were about to have their boots on the ground as soon as they finished up that interview.
When pre-owned vehicles are on the lot.
Wyatt says if they can land Nolan Wilson tomorrow and Jairi Edwards on Saturday, they'll be number 3. I mean, I guess at that point, it's just a numbers game, right? Because I'd imagine with 4 or 5 stars, and isn't one of those guys another 5-star that have us at 5? I don't see how we're not. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a numbers game. So Southern Cal has 30 commits. So that obviously is going to,
Merci
jump
beaucoup.
them up there.
Malcolm is a listening learner, so he checks with Babbel.
Yeah, Cutie, tell me a little bit about that. Auburn's unraveling, man. You're talking about Hugh Freeze's comments, talking about playing fair?
On your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com.
What's crazy is we all know that, I mean, they literally they play by their own rules, man. But, of course, they're always going to be complaining about other people. Always going to be doing that. Let's see.
Insurance company and affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. All right, time to get rolling again. 205-342-9904 is the number to the program. I know you guys want to get on the conversation. Had a lot of recruiting talk. If you guys want to talk a little bit of recruiting, hell, man, it is that. Look, it's that time of year. Fair enough, man. We can dive into a little bit more recruiting. I guess Pat really rubbed off on me, man. We've been talking a whole bunch about recruiting, and looks like we're geared up for another weekend with some more commitments. Wyatt is here joining us in the chat. And he says Nolan Wilson tomorrow will announce his decision, and Jire Edwards on Saturday. And if we land both of those guys, that would put us at the number 3 recruiting class per 24/7 Sports. Now, again, you guys know how we roll on the show. Number one, let me preface by saying we give football takes, and we don't just sugarcoat things just to sound, to appease people, right? So, again, if you can't handle that, I'm sorry, but there's nothing wrong with giving football takes. That's what you should do when you're breaking something down. I don't want somebody to tell me something that's a lie. I want to hear the truth, even if it doesn't exactly resemble what I want to hear. So just be clear of that. Look, recruiting rankings are great, and if we end up at number 3, great. If we don't, so be it. But I would prefer to have good players, guys that want to be here, than whatever these rankings say. That's just me. That being said, in terms of rankings, right now we're sitting at number 7, I believe, according to On3. And that's with us having 4 5-star guys with 17 total commits. Now, if you look at who's at number 1, you've got Southern Cal, and they've got 30 commits total. So obviously it's a numbers game. I'd imagine by the time the cycle finishes, because if you look at it, I mean, between us and LSU, they only have 12, we only have 17. Once we kind of get our numbers back up, it'll kind of change. But Chase, Wyatt, let me ask you guys this. Say, we do finish with a lesser amount of recruits compared to one of these other schools, and that keeps that other school above us. I mean, doesn't that kind of take away the true, I guess, value of what like this would be saying in terms of rankings? You get what I'm saying? Like, say the recruiting cycle ended and Southern Cal had 30 commits, but we only had 24. But they had them listed above us, but we had better quality recruits, but because they had more commits, they were rated higher. I mean, doesn't that kind of just take away from that, or am I missing something there? Chase, what?
I don't think so. I guess my perspective is just we've seen this before where a lot of schools have so many recruits, but it doesn't accumulate to the field. I think that's why Alabama's in its own league, because they know what they want and they know what fits their system, what would represent the Crimson Egg you see every Saturday, every week. So I'm not really impressed if, like say Southern Cal or Oregon or any team of the West Coast has so many recruits, because we've seen that it doesn't translate, unfortunately. So if I'm an Alabama fan, I'm smiling ear to ear, especially Pat, our recruiting guru. But yeah, I wouldn't be nervous. I would be fine where we're at, especially if we can get like Jire Edwards and so much more coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm just curious here, because to me, I think Tia just said it. I mean, if you're going to do rankings based off recruiting class, personally, I would go off of the quality of players, not so much the number of players. You get what I'm saying? I mean, granted, they still have, it says their average rating for, per recruit is like 90.74. It's not like it's like way down. Ours would be at 91. So it's not too far off, but still, when you have 4 5-stars, and that's at least twice more than any other school. I think the next closest would be between Texas and who else? I just see Ohio State and LSU with 2 5-stars. I mean, we have double that. So I'd imagine, but again, this is clearly why I don't really get all into the rankings, guys. This is a great example. Why it says, I look at On3 industry rankings and 24/7 composite. Those are the better ones to look at, since they basically average out where everyone ranks them. Yeah, I get the average across the services, but my biggest thing is I just don't understand how us, for example, with 4 5-stars, we're behind, several of these other programs, just because I get they have more players, but that to me is clearly skewed. That's all I'm saying. So take it for what you will. I know a lot of people are hell bent on having a top recruiting class. I think as long as you're getting the guys you want, like Chase just said, the guys that fit your system. Obviously, recruiting rankings aren't everything, but to be fair, if you go back and look at history, you have a better chance of hitting on a player if he is rated a little bit higher. So yeah, it feels good to get top rated guys. But I would probably look more into the players themselves than the numbers next to our, I guess, logo, right? When you look at these recruiting services. That being said, I know On3 they put a video out because look, a lot of people are turning their attention to Alabama and head coach Kalen DeBoer. Again, we just talked about it. 4 or 5 stars now already committed to Alabama, with another one at least on the verge of committing. Now, Wyatt, or any of you guys in the chat that know this, I'm going to look it up too, but I know Jaire Edwards is a 5-star. Is the other guy that Wyatt mentioned, is he also a 5-star? Do you know that, Chase, or if anybody's in the chat that knows that?
He's a 4-star.
Jaire Edwards is a 4-star, or the other guy? Which one?
No. He's a 5-star.
So Jaire is the 5-star. Nolan Wilson is a 4-star.
Okay, but then there is another, the Tank guy that everybody's been talking about, who they have him, crystal ball to us too. Is he a 5-star? It gets confusing because one site has a guy as a 5-star, the rest of them have him as a 4-star. So I don't know if they how does it work? If they have one 5-star on one site, are they automatically a 5-star? I'm kind of out of the loop, I guess.
If they're a 5-star on one site, typically they'll tout that prospect as a 5-star. Again, I look at the On3 industry and the 247 composite because they kind of give you a better base of where these guys are going to be. Like Xavier Crowell, for example. Every site's got him listed as a 4-star except for the On3 industry rankings. He's a 5-star there. So On3 is going to call him a 5-star, and when he commits or when he does something, they're going to say 5-star running back. Jaire is rated as a 5-star on both 247 and On3, so he's a pretty firm 5-star. Nolan Wilson is a 4-star on all of them. Tank Jones is a 5-star on the On3 industry rankings. Mm-hmm. He's from St. Paul's down in Mobile, so Alabama's pretty heavily involved in that recruitment.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I mean, somebody from down in Mobile, man, you got to feel good about them leaning towards Alabama. But Wyatt, I saw that maybe you retweeted it, but there's a guy that I think went to Jamie Moses High School. Theodore is a linebacker. He ended up committing to Arkansas, but I didn't see him having Alabama on any of his top lists. Do you know much about his recruitment? I can't remember his name, but I was just kind of shocked because I'm like, man, you got CJ Mosley, Jamie Mosley, both those guys, linebackers out of Theodore. You would think, man, they would be in that guy's ear getting him here at Alabama, but maybe he didn't have an Alabama offer. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I always show love to guys down in Mobile, even if Alabama's not in his whatever top 5, top 10, or whatever top 32 graphics that come out, a year in advance. Even if he doesn't have Alabama, I still show love to all the Mobile guys. And my wife's from Arkansas, so I do have a soft spot for the Razorbacks. So I enjoyed seeing them get a win on the recruiting trail there.
But did he have an Alabama offer? That's my question. I was just shocked because I'm like, I thought that he would at least be considering Alabama, given that, again, I mean, we've had a number of guys, Mobile products come to the University of Alabama, but you got, CJ Mosley, Jamie Mosley, linebackers out of Theodore, same high school. Did he have an Alabama offer? Maybe he didn't have one.
I don't believe he had a committable offer. You hear,
that makes sense.
Like Andrew Bohm will say, oh, well, this guy's got the green light or this guy doesn't have the green light. And a lot of people may not know what that means. It means that they may not be ready for that commitment. And there can be a multitude of different reasons for that. So maybe he had a quote unquote offer, but it wasn't a committable offer and he didn't have a green light. So he decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and commit to this program and decided to go to Arkansas.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. When I saw Theodore linebacker, then no Alabama on list, I was just like, oh, that's interesting. But sure enough, makes sense. Well, there you go. So there's a quick little recruiting update for you guys. Now,
Reed just looked at it. JJ Bush, he did not have an offer from Alabama, so Ty just didn't get involved in that recruitment. I think he's a linebacker, right, Reed? So he's a linebacker. Alabama's already got Zay Hall, who's 10 miles from campus, and they just picked up Xavier Griffin. So they also had a really strong linebacker class last year. So it may be something where it's just a numbers game at that point too.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, when you look at it, honestly, it all boils down to what they feel like they need from a depth perspective. Sometimes
I will also say Auburn was not involved in him either. So maybe he's just a kid who decided he wanted to go out of state.
It could be, or maybe they just weren't as high on him as other people. Hell, I was, the top rated guy out of South Carolina, and for whatever reason, South Carolina, they told me the number one. It was, oh well, I want the best fit. Originally, they were running a base 4-2-5, and they played with traditional defensive ends. That was when they had guys like Norwood, Clowney. I mean, these guys were like, bigger, heavier, true DNs, right? But then I also knew that allegedly they weren't too happy with my dad's comments when he had his radio show back home, which you guys know he's very outspoken. He speaks what's on his mind. But if it makes you feel better when you guys get your panties in the wad about some of the things that, he might say on here, right? Even though it's just a football take. And it might not be fun to hear, but it makes it funny, right? That's what banter's about. He does the same thing for his program. He literally did the same thing when he had a radio show covering the Gamecocks. He literally did the same exact thing towards them, but allegedly their coaches weren't too happy about it. It seemed like they kind of took that out on me, which is all good. It worked out. I ended up here. But that being said, sometimes it just depends. I mean, I don't know. Coaches don't see the, same things for everybody. Some people might be really high on the guy, others might not necessarily see it. But I don't know much about the kid. I just saw that why you had retweeted that, and I was just curious. I saw the high school position and whatnot. Anyway, looking at our class, like you said, where's his name? Xavier Griffin. You got to be really excited about him, especially at that linebacker spot. I really see him having a similar kind of vibe to Jahad Campbell with that versatility, explosiveness, athleticism. Fired up about him. And linebacker number 2, why you mentioned, who was that you said that we had? I'm looking on here now. Zay Hall.
Zay Hall. He's from Hillcrest. He's a 3-star. He's got good size. I think he's listed at 6'2", 215-ish pounds. He only played in about 7 or 8 games last year because of injury, but he's good size. He's got good speed, and you always tend to take a flyer on a kid who's, less than 10 miles from your campus. So I liked that pickup a lot for Alabama, if nothing more. Maybe he's a special teams guy here, or maybe he's just a good locker room vibe. There's multiple reasons, as you know, obviously, that maybe you take a kid who's, less than 15 miles from your campus.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched him yet. I'll check him out, though. But if he's only the second linebacker, I'd imagine we could take another one. I know we did take a number of guys last year. But let's hypothetically look at this roster and who would be leaving. Let me pull up the depth chart real quick. That way we have a guide. I mean,
you're guaranteed to lose Deontay Lawson, Justin Jefferson, and Nakai Hill Green, who are all because they're all out of eligibility. So you're guaranteed to lose your top 3 linebackers from this upcoming season.
With that being said, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if we take another linebacker. Again, I don't have like a list of guys that we might be targeting, but I would imagine we probably end up taking another one. But receiver, I feel like we definitely loaded up recently. I mean, obviously, Cedarian Morgan being the most recent and the highest rated guy, but then you had the other 2 young men that committed to 3-star wide receivers, literally back-to-back days, I believe. But that puts us at 3. Defensive line, it looks like we're trying to load up there. We've already got what it looks like to be 2 guys, an edge guy, and then obviously you got Tank Jones still deciding. Why? Who is the other guy you guys mentioned? Is that a defensive lineman? Is that right?
You talking about Nolan Wilson?
Yeah, is he a defensive lineman?
Yeah, he's
tell me about him. What's everybody's been talking about him? Tell me about him.
So Nolan Wilson, he's a 4-star defensive lineman from Picayune over in Mississippi. You always know Mississippi kids are going to be tough to recruit. As of right now, based on some things that I've heard from somebody I know over in that area and a couple of reports from, I think, the Miami message boards, right now he's down to Alabama and Miami, and he's set to make his commitment tomorrow. Going to be really interesting to see if he ends up rolling with the Tide or if he's, riding with the Hurricanes.
Now, his huddle, I just pulled it up. We like to watch tape, but again, I mean, let me just continue. So he's listed at 6'4", 234. Is that right? Or is that old? That has to be old, right? I thought he was listed like a D tackle.
He's listed at 6'4", 240, so maybe you're looking at him at a bandit type of position there. I think Alabama needs a little bit more help on the interior of the defensive line simply because you expect James Smith to have a really good year this year. He's draft eligible. Tim Keenan's out of eligibility after the end of the year, so I'm hoping that there's a little more addition to the interior of the defensive line, but also at 6'4", 240 pounds, you can throw some weight on him pretty quickly here at that size. So maybe he's a guy that they say, he's a little small now. Give him a year. He'll be the size that we need him to be for the interior of the defensive line.
Yeah, the biggest thing is you always want to look at body types. So you can't get too caught up, in what they're like, basically where they're at right now, because their bodies are going to change. You're talking about 16, 17, sometimes 18-year-old young men, right? They're still growing and developing. Normally, again, and everybody's not the same, But typically, if a guy's coming out of high school already at 245, if you look at their frame, a lot of the time they're going to get bigger and they can end up growing more into that 65, 70-ish range. If that's the case, you do look at him as more of a bandit. Obviously, if you want to keep him more on the lean side and his body allows for him not to just put on a bunch of weight, you can see him more maybe at that wolf spot. I thought we were talking about a defensive tackle here because I agree with you. I definitely wouldn't mind taking some more defensive tackles, but correct me if I'm wrong, Wyatt, but he would be the second edge guy, then Tank Jones would be the third, right? So we would be taking 3 edge guys total in this class if that's the case.
As of right now, I believe that is the case. But you also look at a guy like Xavier Griffin. It almost sounds like
is another guy.
Well, it almost sounds like that they're trying to sell him on, the way Kane Womack used Jahad Campbell last year, so he can play inside and outside. But I think you need more bodies on the interior of that defensive line. And you've got some good guys on the roster now. You obviously added a couple of guys last year, but we know how quickly depth can be chewed up in college football, especially with the transfer portal now. So I would like another big-bodied addition, and maybe they get one. They were involved in Titan Davis, who committed to Michigan, but, it's a long way between now and December. Or trust me, everybody – Digger calls in and says, you got to keep these guys till December. Well, you got to keep your guys because I'm sure Alabama's probably still going to be on the hunt for some guys in that position room as well.
Well, to be fair, I mean, if you have a number of guys at one spot in a recruiting class, I mean, you always do run the risk of at least one of those guys maybe ending up somewhere else. I mean, that's just part of it, right? I mean, I'm just telling you, from my experience as a recruit, one of the things that I did pay attention to was, in this class, right? Like that I'm going to be in, how many other guys are at my position. And it's not that you're like, oh, well, you're scared of competition. No, it's not that. It's just kind of more it mattered more for somebody like me because we didn't have the luxury of just transferring out. These guys technically can go sign somewhere, and if it doesn't work out, they can leave. When I was coming out, it was different. So that definitely was something a lot of us looked at was that, all right, they're taking 2 outside linebackers. Oh, they're taking 4. You know what I mean? And if you end up in a situation where you're with 4 other guys that are in your class, there's nothing wrong with competing, but it's more so that you don't necessarily want to just, I don't know. Sometimes it feels a little bit, I don't know, of a better situation if the numbers are stacked more in your favor, which people consider that. But anyway, we got to hit a quick timeout. When we come back, I'm going to keep looking at this guy. I'm going to look at a couple others. I guess we're going to talk a little bit of recruiting. Plus, speaking of recruiting, On3 I made a video trying to put some respect on Coach DeBoer in Alabama's name. So we'll listen to that, discuss that. We'll keep on rolling right here on this Thursday. This is the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. Be right back.
At Tuscaloosa Mazda, they are expanding their showroom to serve you better. Come see their new and pre-owned Mazda lineup.
I like this kid's tape so far. It's pretty solid. He's got good hand usage. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, just seeing how he plays, he definitely could end up growing more into like that kind of Jordan Renaud type, I feel like, where he puts weight on and ends up more as that, bandit type guy. I mean, just the way he moves more like a true end type guy than, let's say, like a stand-up outside backer. Like, he could do it, but one thing he's going to have to work on is pad level. He plays way too high. So that's something that they'll definitely get with him on. Because he's like standing like straight up, which is fine. I mean, you can tell he's a little raw. He's a younger player. He's a little raw. But he's tough. He's got good hand usage. He's got a lot of tools to work with. But see what I mean? See how he's standing straight up? See what I'm saying? In college, man, you can't do that, man. You will get put on your ass quick if you do that. But I had that problem playing real high for a while too. Especially when you're taller, man. You just got to. When you're taller, then you're playing against shorter people. Sometimes it is kind of a habit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like he ends up growing more into like a bandit. See, that's why you got to get pad level, especially when you're 245, taking on a double team like that. We need to watch this Tank Jones guy, though, next. I know a lot of you guys like him. Hell, he's active, though. Yeah, let's pull up Tank Jones. I like what I said about using Griffin with a camera roll lens. Yeah, he's right. I mean, that's what I said about what's his name, literally from like the first time I watched him.
752-9611.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope you guys are doing well. We've been talking about some recruiting, man. I'll be honest, man. I don't mind talking about recruiting when we get to actually watch tape and stuff, man. I love watching tape, breaking guys down, and look, just giving a true football breakdown. So that's what we're doing, man. But speaking of recruiting, let's dive into this On3 video again. They made they uploaded it yesterday. But it's talking about Kalen DeBoer in Alabama because, again, we've been hot on the recruiting trail. So let's see what old J.D. Pickell and On3 has to say about Alabama.
Y'all, we cannot compare Nick Saban and what he was at Alabama to Kalen DeBoer and what he's doing right now at Alabama. All right? Now, hand up, I did this after the Georgia game. And I don't regret giving Kalen DeBoer his flowers because the game plan was absolutely electric, and I had never seen Kirby Smart on his heels like he was in that game, other than, when Kirby Smart and Georgia had a couple of games against those Alabama teams. But even with that being said, it's not a comparison that's fair to make because the Alabama job that Nick Saban had is very different than the Alabama job that Kalen DeBoer had. Like, it's night and day. Why? Because the landscape changed. Landscape's totally different. Like, when you recruited, if you were Nick Saban at Alabama, you won't have to worry about NIL. We don't have to worry about pitching these kids on what they were going to make their sophomore year and junior year or what they'd get as a freshman or all that. It wasn't something he had to deal with. Kalen DeBoer, I have to believe that's a pretty massive part of what he deals with. It's a big reason why Courtney Morgan is his GM and why Alabama's crushing on the recruiting trail. Like, it's not, it was never something Nick Saban had to account for. I would guarantee a part of every single day that Kalen DeBoer is the head coach of Alabama, he's thinking and having to assign or delegate or whatever, something or someone to an NIL situation, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, in Tuscaloosa. Also, on top of that, when it comes to what is happening on the recruiting trail, let's be honest, the Big Ten started to step up a little bit, man. Michigan playing ball on the recruiting trail. Ohio State always playing ball. Oregon's now more of a factor than they have been in previous years. Nick Saban didn't have to deal with that. Nick Saban pretty much had to deal with the rest of the SEC, maybe Ohio State here or there, maybe Florida State some days. But, like, for the most part, Nick Saban had to worry about his surrounding radius, and that was pretty much it. Kalen DeBoer is playing more of a national recruiting game than Nick Saban ever had to, for my money at least, for the most part. On top of that, national championships is what Nick Saban set the standard at in Tuscaloosa, and that's a great thing. But if you're going to judge Kalen DeBoer by how many national championship he wins, you're not wrong for making that assessment. But I just think it's a little bit hasty to compare the two. Because Nick Saban, if you had to win a national championship at Alabama under him, it was a 1 to 2 game postseason, maybe. I guess 3 if you're talking about the SEC championship game. Kalen DeBoer, if you're going to win the college football playoff, right now it's at least 3 games, maybe 4. And then we're probably going to expand this playoff even further. Like, it's never been harder to win a national championship in modern college football. In college football, period, never been harder to win a national championship. And so if you're saying, well, Nick Saban has this many national championships, Kalen DeBoer has this many national championships, it's good to count. good for us to all keep track together. But if you're going to say Nick Saban and where he is right now in college football lore versus where Kalen DeBoer is in college football lore, you're going to find yourself unhappy. Like we could honestly like distill this segment even down to Nick Saban's the greatest of all time. Nobody's ever going to do what he's done ever again. Like it's a fool's errand to try to compare the two. So the danger in comparing these two so frequently and always saying DeBoer versus Saban, if we get into that world, is the risk you run is misevaluating how good a job Kalen DeBoer is actually doing. Because the era that Nick Saban did it in is long gone. Long gone. Just appreciate what Kalen DeBoer is doing right now. And that's not me telling you if you're an Alabama fan, be okay with not winning a national championship or be okay with not making the college football playoff. That's not what I'm saying. Just understand now the hill that you have to climb to get to where Nick Saban got in the college football world of winning titles and conference championships and all that. It just got much more steeper and much more terrain to it, all right? Like Texas and Oklahoma are now in the SEC. To make matters even harder within your conference. This stuff is harder than it ever has been. And so understand Kalen DeBoer and his job that he has at Bama, very different from the job that Saban had when he was at Bama, reeling off national championships. Also, be okay with the different brand of college football that Kalen DeBoer is going to play. Like, why? Because different is required to win in college football right now. Nick Saban, for the most part, you could kind of expect the same thing from his teams. There was a period there, obviously, at the end where they shifted and got a little bit more vertical in the pass game and started adding some of those high-profile guys and Tua and Mac Jones and Bryce Young. I get that. But for the most part, with Saban's teams, you got the we're going to beat your skull in for 4 quarters kind of approach. Control the game, make you say uncle, that's us. And Kalen DeBoer, I think, maybe will have some of that to him, but his MO is the offensive side. His MO is the quarterback. His MO is scoring a lot of points. And that's going to, I think, serve you well in modern college football because what I just said, you got to win 4 games to win a national championship. You probably got to score more points a lot of those games. You probably got to have the superior quarterback in those games, right? Scoring more points to win a football game. Novel concept. But I think that's become more and more emphasized as we move into the expanded playoff, if you catch my drift. I don't think you can show up and feel good about winning a rock fight for 4 games in a row like maybe you could have in previous years. That's not me telling you that's all Saban did, but I am saying now the way that DeBoer is adjusting his brand of football in Tuscaloosa, it might be a little bit jarring to get used to, but I think it's going to work. Like my thing with Alabama, I'm going to be in on Kalen DeBoer as long as Bama is recruiting the way they have recruited so far. Last class, top 3 in the country, great, that's good enough. If you're in that top 3 tier for Alabama, that's going to be good enough to win a national championship. Outside of what you do in the portal. He's a good coach, man. It sounds like I'm going to bat for Kalen DeBoer here. Good coach. Can build a culture, can hire a staff, and if he can recruit, they're going to be in great shape. He knows the X's and O's. They're going to be in good shape. So I just want us to all be careful here to not wander too far down the rabbit hole of, well, is he Nick Saban? No, he's not Nick Saban. Nobody's Nick Saban. Nick Saban is on an island himself, the greatest of all time. Kalen DeBoer, though, I think is still good enough to get you back to the mountaintop of college football, winning some national championships. But let's be very careful in comparing the two. Right.
Sounds like he kind of needs to take his own advice, right, guys? Because weren't they the same ones that kind of been sleeping on Alabama, right? I mean, they've been talking about LSU, been talking about Georgia, Texas. And he was the very one that was just saying, oh, well, without a proven quarterback, I just don't know about Alabama. We'll see. And now I feel like all of a sudden, because people see the recruiting that we've been able to do, it's all of a sudden like, oh, well, you got to remember is if they can recruit, they'll be in good shape. Which I'll say this, I think it's kind of it's a double-edged sword, right? Because I agree. I mean, you'd expect. I mean, if we can get the players, we should be good, right? But at the same time, I think that does make it a little bit more tough on Kalen DeBoer because then people are going to say, well, you don't really have that excuse if you don't see a high level of success. Not necessarily the same success as you saw with Coach Saban, but look, I mean, last year we finished with the top 3 recruiting class, whatever it was. I think it was like number 2. We do it again this year. People are going to expect the results to match what they're seeing with recruiting because that's what they saw with Coach Saban. Now, he did make some good points here. He made several points about things obviously being a little bit different now. Expanded playoffs makes it more difficult than it once was. But then you also see the other side of it so one could technically argue that it was a little bit more difficult to win when there was only 4 teams in the playoff because you had to be able to get in that 14 playoff. There was less work to do once you were there, but there was more work to do prior to getting there and to get yourself there. So, I mean, there's really arguments either way, but this was an interesting video. It kind of makes you think about the two, trying to compare. Again, obviously, we don't want to compare Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer and him trying to fill in his shoes exactly. It's going to be different. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. But I could see arguments on both sides, right? So I want you guys to think about that. What did you think about what JD had to say? We got to hit a timeout. We come back. We got Q06 on the phone lines. We're coming to you, Q, and we're going to keep on rolling. But what did you guys think about that? And I mean, he said if Alabama can recruit, they should be able to stay atop the mountaintop. Now, we're doing just that. Now we got to see the results come game time, because that's really what matters. Recruiting is great, and it is a big piece. But the biggest one is the results in the football field, which we're less than 60 days out, guys. We're getting close. We'll keep on this conversation. We come back right after this quick timeout on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. We'll be right back. Julian, what's going on? Good to have you on here on the Facebook side of things. Welcome in. Tia said win me a natty first. Talk to your OC about that. Defense was good enough for it last year. Recruiting hasn't taken a dip. Your background music makes me want to go have Mexican and margaritas. Hey, man, we got to have some Latin flavor, man. I mean, I would say defense probably was solid. I mean, statistically, yeah. I mean, I think we probably, would have been good enough to make a run. Let's see. Nobody's going to run that gimmicky Vandy game plan consistently. Defense only gave up 17 and Norman too. Yeah, why we say only gave up 17, but you got to remember, I mean, Oklahoma was, I mean, no one to go run home and tell your mom about. Like they were pretty bad going into that game. Texas and Tennessee struggle with it too. I would just say, to me, again, we did a lot of good stuff defensively. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I was good with it, but just lack consistency, and then there was just a lack of physicality at times, which as a defense, man, you can't have that. But was it good enough to win more football games? Yeah, I think so. I would say so. My DC's got to learn how to stop Vandy's game plan first. That's why. That's all I'm saying. I just wouldn't get caught up too much on statistics. I would just, if you watch the tape, like we did a lot of good stuff, but there's definitely a lot we needed to be better at, and it's a number of things across the board. It's not just one thing, but the good news is I think it's all stuff that's relatively easy to clean up. I mean, I literally think just something is, I say simple, it's definitely a lot more difficult than it sounds, but something is it's as simple as just small adjustments, man, with what we were doing. I think that would have gone a long way. I mean, if I'm being honest,
hard in construction today.
But again, statistics aside, when you turn on the tape, I mean, the D-line play, physicality up front.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. Let's go on to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. Q06, you still with us? Q, you there? Going once, twice. He might have dropped. Q, if you want to circle back, man, please do. Sorry, we had to get that video played real quick. But anyway, we just heard that video. And again, I pretty much agree with what JD's saying for the most part. But again, there's also, different ways to kind of view it. Wyatt Chase, when you hear JD basically say, hey, as long as Alabama can recruit, they should be really, still at the top of college football. I agree with them there, but do you feel like that also kind of puts a little bit more pressure on the coaches? Because that kind of says, hey, man, I mean, if you're getting the same quality of players, it's on you guys. I mean, do you kind of take that as well?
Somewhat, you got to be able to coach. That's just whether you have no recruiting or recruiting out the woo-ha. So I just feel like even aside from recruiting, right? This is Alabama. This is the standard of college football, not just the SEC, not just in the state of Alabama. It literally is what football represents, right? So you're going to be able to have the coach, especially with high recruits coming in every year, whether it could be Lincoln Riley or any other high profile coach. You got to be able to translate that onto the field. Now, I've heard that pressure makes diamonds. So I think the more pressure there is in this kind of coaching profession, then you got to match that. And that's not a bad thing, because think about on the flip side. If it's everything's working out, it looks so good on your coaching record,
right,
and everything that's kind of beyond that. But if you can't handle it, then they're looking for somebody else, and that's fair. Anything you do, right, in a job, your goals and such. But I like the intensity and the pressure that comes with Alabama, because that's the standard. That's they're used to winning, right? And Nick Saban embraced that, and he got to where it is now. Just someone has to pick up that mantle and continue the winning ways.
True. And in terms of a little, I guess, outlook on what we've done in terms of recruiting, this just happened to be on my Twitter feed. I didn't even click on this. It was sitting right there. I just saw SpongeBob to the left of my screen. And I was like, what is that? Well, sure enough, it's a perfect depiction of Alabama recruiting right now and how we're on fire. 10 recruits landed in the last 11 days, 4 of those guys being 5 stars, 2 more than any other school. So that being said, the recruiting part, go ahead and check that box, right? Now we just got to check the box of what we do during the year, which is the biggest box that I think we all can agree on, which I think will be good. Southern Red says, I expect there to be a lot more continuity with our team this season now that everybody's on board and a part of DeBoer's team /vision /his game play /plan. Look, I'll say this. I think that's one of the biggest things that stands out. We talk about it a lot, but just to reiterate, I mean, you listen to these guys, they keep talking about the brotherhood, the relationships. Hell, we're now hearing it from the recruits themselves. So clearly the culture is now being further established. Not saying it wasn't established last year, but people got upset when my dad was, saying what he was saying about, hey, I mean, it just seems a little bit too loose. Things aren't as tight as they were. And then we heard from the players themselves, guys relate to meetings. Things were, not as tight as they needed to be, right? And I think going into this year, you do have a lot more buy-in. You have a lot more guys understanding what's expected. And as a result, you should see a much better product on the field, right? I mean, that goes a long way. I think people don't, really give enough credit to things like momentum, having those relationships with one another when you're on the same page with your teammates, man. That really does go a long way with the football team. And I think we will see that. I even think it'll go a long way with the coaches, right? I mean, if we're just calling a spade, I don't know if the coaches were all on the same page at all times last year. They weren't, right? It was kind of evident at times, which makes sense. I mean, it's a new staff. Offense, there's more continuity, but defensively, you had a lot of different inputs there. I think going into year 2, that should be a little bit more clear, kind of, who's doing what, whose role is what's going to work with what. Does that make sense? I think that also is something to think about. That should result in an upgrade to what we see on the football field for this 2025 season. That being said, we got to hit this top of the hour break. We come back, we keep on rolling. We're open on the phone lines, 205-342-9904. Hit us up. You guys want to get in on this conversation. Plus, you guys can always drop your things, your questions, comments, and concerns right there on that YouTube chat that I'm reading right now, or on Facebook, where we also are live streaming as well at the Miller's Edge on all platforms. Make sure you guys check us out. Stop by, come hang out, interact with the chat. We got a whole bunch of people hanging out and having fun. And yeah, check us out. You can also watch me do the show right here on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. Quick time out. We'll be right back. Colin Hitchler. Yeah, I mean, just being transparent, I don't think that was the best fit there. That wasn't the best fit. Oh wow, we got Auburn on the timeline. That's random because we don't follow them, but they're popping up. Damn, but look who does though. Is that Wyatt Fulton? Wyatt Fulton following Auburn. Damn, Wyatt. What's up with that? I'm just playing. You guys know me. I really don't. Obviously, I'm not a fan of Auburn, but I don't take it that far. Where a lot of people really are like disgusted. Okay, Wyatt says he follows all 16 SEC teams. Fair enough. Like I said, I just was being funny. Like, I'm not like, I feel like there's some people out there that hate them so much. Like, if they have family who supports Auburn, like they don't talk to them, man, I could care less about that stuff, man. At the end of the day, it's a sport. People running around with a piece of leather. There's more important things in life. No, I get it, though. That's your job. Why? You got to cover everybody. When's SEC Media Days, by the way? I know it's coming up because him and Ryan will be covering it. Is it in a couple weeks? Is that right? Yeah, that's the 14th. I knew it was like mid-July. That'll be good. That'll be good. I wonder if it's just going to be like a whole bunch of revenue share talk, stuff like that. Obviously, they'll talk about their teams, but I wonder if that's going to be a big conversation. I feel like the playoff conversations are probably going to be pretty popular. Deuce Knight follows you. How are you talking about ops? I mean, you actually like connected with them. He's just following the page. You follow. I'm assuming you follow them back. That's crazy. What's going on there, Tia? Let's pull up this Tank guy's highlights. I think we watched it briefly. Was it Anthony Tank Jones? Let's see.
Code piping and vessel.
Love the physicality. So you got strong, heavy hands, set a nice edge. Tight end. Nice. Is that 3 technique? Yeah, he's good. He's a big, physical, heavy-handed kind of dude, it looks like. So, like, if this was like our old system, like he would have been a jack, and you could have put Griffin at Sam. Obviously, he also could play inside, but if you played him at outside, that'd be a nice little tandem on the edges. Love the long arm. Hell of a move. It's a great move. He's got a nice swim. So I used to work a swim move all the time in high school. I stopped doing it in college, though. Swim moves, man, in college when you're playing against better competition, it's a lot different because if you're not hitting it perfect, man, it exposes your chest. Plus, you're not really setting the guy up too much. I mean, the pepper step helps, but the way he's working is, I mean, he's really good at it. And welcome back into Miller's Edge, Top 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hopefully, Chase still had me on mute. I don't know if my mic was hot. I was breaking down some film. Again, we are live stream. So if you guys want to watch that, watch some tape with us and we break it down, check us out on YouTube at The Miller's Edge, on Facebook. We are live on the Tide 100.9 page. And that's what we're doing right now. We're watching Anthony Take Jones, who is expected to end up here, a part of our signing class. Now, he would make the 5th 5-star, man, which I'll be honest with you, man. I mean, that is really impressive. Wyatt, Woodwood or Chase, maybe you'd have to do the research here. What's like our record for 5 stars in one single recruiting class? I'm curious because I know, for example, like when I came out in 2014, we probably had at least, I could pull it up real quick, but we had at least probably 4 we finished with. I mean, Tony Brown, Marlon Humphrey, Cam Robinson. I mean, I think I might have been a borderline 4-star on like 24/7, but I'll exclude me here for a second. Deshaun Han. Rashawn was, so we had like 5, I think, maybe. But I'm sure some of these other classes were either up there or could even have had more. I wonder, what is the record for an Alabama signing class for 5 stars? Chase, do you know that by chance? Wyatt? I don't know if Wyatt's still behind the glass, but I know he's...
I want to say it was probably, if I'm not mistaken...
I don't know if you can see the stream. Oh, so they did count me as a 5-star. Damn, they really gave me the true bump once...
Yeah, you got that
I didn't
Bama
even know
bump.
that. Nah, don't try to play me. I didn't have that Bama bump. I had that. Listen, I always joke around. I didn't realize. Now, listen, the reason I'm saying this is because I didn't realize I finished right there. Because before, they had me as a 5-star on. Here, I'll show you guys. See what I'm saying? Like one of them, it was like I was like just outside of it. So I always sell myself short, man. I don't know why I do this, but anybody else would say, "Oh, I see a 5-star. Screw it, I was a 5-star." But to me, I was like, well, on one side I was. So I always kind of downplay it, but I didn't realize there. But that's what it was. So on 24/7, they ended up having me as 1. For a composite, I was just outside of it. I think I probably missed it by a couple of slots. Really doesn't matter, but pretty funny to look back and see that. But looking at our class, so yeah, Cam, Deshaun, Marlon, Rashawn. So they did count me, and then Tony. That put us at what, 6 that we finished with, and we're at 4. Tank would make 5. Is there another 5-star wide that we're in the running for? Or Chase?
None that were quote unquote favored to land. They were heavily involved in a couple of guys like Jet Washington, but he committed to Oregon. I want to say there was a year, and it may have been Tua's class or something like that, where they signed Smitty, Ruggs, Judy, Tua, all in the same class. That's kind of the one that I was keeping an eye on here when you look at breaking the record. I know Chase, Tia, and I are all looking for that research right now. So I
appreciate it. I'm on 2017. You're talking about 2017. So I got it here. So yeah, Leatherwood, Najee, LeBron Ray, Tua, Henry Ruggs, Smitty, and Dylan Moses. Excuse me, that was 7. Damn.
So I think that was the year that we broke the record for 5 stars signed in one class.
Wait, you know what's crazy? For some reason, when I searched 2014, that's why I got confused. It's on a whole nother tab. One of my teammates came up, and he signed from JUCO, but I was like, wait, I forgot about him. Do you guys remember a dude named Ty Flournoy Smith? He played tight end. I don't know if you guys remember him, man. But anyway, I just saw one of my teammates pop up. I was like, man, I haven't seen my dog Ty in a minute, man. Hope he's doing well. Let me go back to this real quick. So let me make sure it's shared because I'm on a whole different tab. Okay, yeah, it's shared. All right, so you guys can see this. So 2017, man, look at this recruiting class. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This might be the best class Coach Saban signed, or one of them. And listen, I obviously want to ride with my class, but just looking at these guys, Leatherwood was a first-round pick. Now, obviously, you know, it hadn't really panned out in the league. I'm not sure where I don't think he's on a roster right now, but it doesn't matter, man. Dude was a first-round pick, man. Got paid, got to live out his dream, man. Shout out Leatherwood. Najee Harris,
Last I saw, Leatherwood was on the Bears practice squad.
Is he still with the practice squad? I wasn't sure if he was or not.
Maybe
not.
I think they signed him like middle of the season to go on the practice squad, and so he's just kind of a holdover from the previous year's roster.
Hey, man, shoot, he's playing. Good for him, man. But I didn't realize he was the top recruit in that class. That's crazy. Tia says 2023 had 7 as well in the composite. Damn. Najee Harris, LeBron Ray, who's actually playing with the Panthers. Now, LeBron, I think he went undrafted. He was in the UFL for like a year. The Panthers signed him, and then they just re-signed him again, man. So shout out to LeBron, man. He's doing a good job with Carolina right now.
I think you also got your guy Ashawn on that roster too.
You do. You got Ashawn and LeBron both in Carolina. I'm excited to see what they can do this year. I'll be honest with you. I have a little bit of hope. I know we haven't done crap in a long time, but I'm excited to see what we can do, man. They really are trying to get Bryce some weapons. They got us some help up front. They really have tried to get him some guys, to catch the football for him. So hopefully we see all that come to fruition. But defensively, man, we got to get back to doing what we've been. Now, defensively, we've been straight on defense, even though we've been kind of trash. Defensively, we've always been solid, but they kind of cleared house and tried to reset. And yeah, I don't think they should have done that. Tua, Ruggs, Smitty. I mean, just looking at this, so Leatherwood, first rounder. Did Najee go in the first round or was he second round? I can't remember.
He was first round of the Steelers.
Right. First round. Tua first round. Ruggs first round. Smitty first round. Somebody asked about Dylan Moses, man. We got to reach out to him. Judy first round. I think X ended up sliding to the second round, right? Like,
yeah, McKinney slid to the second round to the Giants.
But it doesn't even matter. Just look how he's been killing it so far, man. And he was my favorite signing that we've made since Charles Woodson. Oh yeah, he's a dog, man.
I was having a euphoric experience with the 20 minutes there where we signed Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, you did get lucky, man. You got 2 Bama dogs right there in your lap, man. Jedrick Wills was a first rounder. Chris Allen, great player. You got Bugs on there. Shavers is actually on a roster right now. VD, Vandarius Cohen. I forgot what happened to him. He transferred. I can't remember what happened. Drez Parks, who we were talking about with the big commitment. Markel, Big Phil ended up being like a second rounder. D. Wright, B. Rob, second rounder. Mac Jones, first rounder. Mac Jones is a 3-star. Wasn't even ranked nationally, man. Ended up being one of the top quarterbacks in college football, man. Would you look at that? Wow. That was one hell of a class. 21 had 7 as well. Damn. We obviously don't have time to look at all these people, but I'll keep scrolling around, having fun. Let's do this. I know we got Q06 on the phone lines. Let's take a quick early break. That way we can go ahead and get Q on the line because I don't want to have him waiting any longer. So we'll do that. We'll keep having fun during commercial break, looking at some of these top classes, seeing how they stack up to what we're doing right now. When we come back, we got Q06 hop on the phone lines. 205-342-9904 is the number if you guys want to get in on the conversation. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
At Tuscaloosa Mazda, they are expanding their showroom to serve you better. Come see their new and pre-owned Mazda lineup, offering fuel efficiency, advanced technology, and plush comfort. Tuscaloosa Mazda, 3100 Skyland Boulevard East, or online at TuscaloosaMazda.com.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama,
we are here treating patients from every generation,
across the United States,
and from around the world.
We're here for the rookies and the dreamers,
trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers,
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer.
We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors
who are shaping the next generation of legends.
We are here for you,
aggressively pursuing
victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
4th of July savings are here at the Home Depot with up to 40% off, plus up to an extra $600 off select appliances with free delivery like GE Profile. Simplify your routine with GE Profile appliances. From refrigerators with autofill pitchers and multiple dispensing options to all-in-one washer-dryer combos that can wash and dry a full load in under 2 hours. Shop 4th of July savings on top brand appliances now at the Home Depot. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $396 or more. Offer valid June 18th through July 9th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, I like this Tank Jones guy, though. Are we good with breaking down? Are y'all good with, y'all want me to actually break down tape? Or are we going to be too sensitive today? What's it going to be? I like this guy, though. I want to watch that. I want to watch that cornerback, though. What's that cornerback's name that we have? I guess he's a 5-star too. Jordan Edmonds. Let me pull him up real quick.
Knowing that if something goes wrong, you'll pay almost nothing for covered repairs. Included in every plan is free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, making it accessible to any driver.
Break down the
For a
kids' say, but if he
realize you
compared
need
himself
coverage.
to
Invest in the future of your vehicle and your wallet today. Call CarShield now for your
I'm
free
trying to
quick
figure out
quote.
who's
Call
killing
800-92.
I didn't even hear this kid compare himself to Julio. I said with somebody on Twitter or whoever was here, they said, wait, and break down this tape when they commit. We might be breaking down drunk Sark players, not even know it. Fair enough. I'm genuinely asking. If you guys want me to break down tape, I'll do it. But like I said, I mean,
between 90.
I know some people get that again. I just can't believe how. Look, man, I'm sorry, but we've gotten soft, man. Where if you say a kid doesn't necessarily give you the same resemblance of a guy who literally is a generational player, people get soft and upset about it. It's the craziest thing. I'm sorry. And welcome back into Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. T, I'll be honest, I guess there's a couple listeners or whatever that were upset when since we're talking about breaking down tape. Something about when I compared Sedarian Morgan. No, I didn't compare him. Allegedly, there was, I don't know. So it's either somebody in the chat or it was like on YouTube, but I know a lot of people were comparing like Sedarian Morgan to Julio Jones. And I get it immediately when you see the size, top recruit in the state. I get where it's coming from. But what I was saying was, as we watch tape, and let me be clear. What I said yesterday was, for anybody that got their panties in a wad over whatever and want to be soft over a football take, what I said was that I wouldn't necessarily compare him to Julio Jones based off of what I saw on his junior tape. I said that could change. Obviously, he's going to get coached up. I just said Julio Jones is a generational type of player that had elite size, speed, and everything you could. There's a reason Coach Saban talks about that guy more than anybody else. This guy is like, you don't just come across Julio Jones. Okay. So all I was saying was just because somebody has similar height, and measurables and is from here, I'm not just going to jump on the bandwagon as everybody else is doing, saying that they think he's the next this, because we do that all the time now. Oh, somebody's going to be the next this. They're going to be the next this. And it's not fair to the kid, and it's not necessary. But I just said, seeing the tape, I personally, as somebody that played football on the highest level and here and was a team captain here, I've been around football since I was 4, had a dad that played in the National Football League 9 damn years. I said, from my perspective, I don't see the same exact traits as a guy like Julio Jones. That's all I said. And because I don't see the traits from Julio Jones out of anybody, hardly. He's generational for a reason, right? That does not mean this kid can't have a phenomenal career. That doesn't mean he can't end up being a Julio or better. That's just what I saw. I mean, I don't know. Does that make more sense, Chase? Wyatt, anybody listening? I don't know who's behind the glass, so.
No, I feel that. I think it's kind of a blessing and a curse per se, because once you're kind of recruited and you commit to Alabama football, you're already kind of put in this box of like, you can be the next Smitty, you can be, the next Waddle, you can be the next Julio Jones, right? But then, the advice and the expertise that your dad and others like Greg McElroy put out there, that, yeah, maybe he can be his own player, or maybe I just don't see this. And everybody has their own opinion, right? I don't think one is less than the other. It's just breaking down football, the things that we love to do every day, and just giving our analysis on it, right? So whether someone agrees with it or not, that's their case. Now, I wouldn't necessarily put in him a box, because I think Sedarius Moore can be his own person, right? He can shine and do a lot of things for Alabama football, because I looked into him and he's legit, but everybody can break it down. That's okay. But it's an interesting world we live in.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does. But I'm just like, and obviously it probably was just a minute couple of whatever. But in my head, I'm like, I don't even get how you take that. All that is somebody just like, oh, well, they're not saying what we want to. Listen. My job is to break football down, right? When I turn on a tape and I just don't see the same level of explosiveness or speed, I'm just making a comment on that. That's nothing wrong with that. Again, and I even made sure I said this. You don't expect most tall receivers to have that type of, agility, that elite elusiveness, right? That shiftiness that you see out of smaller receivers, right? For those of you that play video games, there's a reason on 2K you can't make a 7-foot player that has the same agility as a point guard. It's not natural, right? You don't see that. And I made sure that made Julio special. And that's why I said I didn't necessarily see those same traits in terms of like Julio is, for his size, was explosive, fast, quick, and could do a lot of things that those small guys could also do while being that big. You get what I'm saying? That's all we said. So if anybody took problem with that, man, I'm sorry, but you're being soft. Like, that's what it boils down to. I'm sorry, man. But we can't sit there and keep like getting so offended over every little, like, this is crazy, man. It's crazy. To me, that's just silly. Anyway, I'll come back to this. But you know what's crazy, Chase? I'll finish by saying this. After I went to try to find more highlights, right? And there was a guy on YouTube that actually broke down his highlights. And I don't think he's like a huge channel. I'll try to find the video for you guys. But I think it's just like just a random guy on YouTube. And you know what's crazy, Chase? He said the exact same thing that literally the same things that I was saying in terms of, his game speed doesn't seem elite necessarily, but it's hard to tell only on the tape that we saw. But you also don't necessarily expect that from a big receiver. But he also talked about all the elite traits that he does display that I literally said over and over. The elite body control, the elite, ability to high point and catch the football, and how he knows how to use his body and contort his body so well to go make those big time football plays. Not to mention, there's nothing wrong with being like that type of player that's a go-getter, like a go-getter high pointer of the football like that. Like, you need different body types, right? Like, not every receiver has every single tool and trait. Not every single linebacker, whoever, has every tool and trait. That's okay. There's a reason even the top NFL draft picks have weaknesses. There's nobody that's perfect or has this magic arsenal of skills and athletic traits. That doesn't exist. All I was saying was, just to be clear, for the people in the back that don't want to listen to what I say or what we say on this show, when we're giving football takes, this show is not about sitting here and telling you guys, oh, how perfect every single. That's not reality. You guys are living in a dream if you think that. We break down football tape the same way a coach would. If a coach sat down and said, he would say the same stuff. That's what we're doing. We talk football. We talk football. If you guys, want, hope, and go to attend my dad's church. He talks about it for 2 hours. You can go do that. But we're talking about football in this show. That being said, all it boiled down to was a guy like Julio, man, is like generational. That would be like you've seen a defensive end that's 6'6", has the explosiveness of somebody small. I mean, that just is unheard of. And then anytime you see another player that's a defensive end that's 6'6", people compare him to that guy that was, generational type dude just because of, the height and weight, whatever the case may be. But then when you turn on the tape, the ability is just slightly different. Doesn't mean that dude can't be another great player, but that doesn't also mean he's going to be the next Aaron Donald, Christian, stop, man. You're upsetting the blind. Nah, man. I try to be. I think what frustrates me sometimes, I try to be so. Like I'm so respectful. I try to literally be fair. You guys, like my dad, all right, he's gonna say what he says, right? We all know that. But I try to be, very fair. Try to give a good football take that's accurate because, again, that's my credibility, my reputation. I'm not gonna sit there and lie and say things about somebody that I don't believe just to appease a couple people. And then it ruins my credibility as an analyst. That's cap. I'm not doing that. But anyway, let's get to Q06, man. Corey's church name. Hope he didn't have hope. It was. Oh, man. All right. 205-342-9904. Sorry, I had to make things clear. Set the record straight for a second. Q06, welcome in.
Man, you got y'all, boy. Y'all off the hook today on upsetting folks. Man, what's going on, Christian?
Nah, man. Listen, I think sometimes, man, you just get to a point. You just get to a point where it's like, dude, people try to nitpick any little thing, and I'm just at a point. I'm not gonna have that. I'm not gonna have people making it seem like we did something wrong for saying he didn't necessarily strike me exactly as Julio Jones with his type of skill set. Like, again, even though I gave all other praise and literally just broke down the type of player. And I just said, like, that's just going off of junior tape. I don't know, though. I've never seen him play in person. I've never seen him go run in person. But I just know as a receiver, there's a checklist. You're looking at not only the acrobatic catches, you're looking at the routes, you're looking at the game speed, you're looking at how he gets in and out of breaks, you're looking at the physical. Like, I have a checkbox. I'm not just your average fan. I'm like, y'all listen to the show for my football knowledge. That's what I'm going to give you guys. If it gets to a point where you guys, I'm not saying everybody, but y'all can't handle a football take, I won't do it anymore. Then everybody loses out on it. If it's that deep, only because of a stupid comparison, it's just silly, man.
I listen to the show. I call into the show because I'm trying to get educated, Christian. I mean, I don't know everything about the college football. I've been a fan since '84, but, I don't know everything. But my problem is this, and I'm always trying to upset people in the chat because I try to speak my truth. My thing is, this is a junior in high school. I just don't understand recruiting in general because everybody in all high, this kid ain't even played his senior season yet. Does the stars change in your senior year? I mean, if you produce and you do better in your senior year, does the stars go up, down?
Yeah, they can.
How does that work?
Yeah, no, they definitely they can. I don't know how. As a matter of fact, just like to give you mine, for example, I think I gained some after my senior year. Not like gained some stars. I was already a 4-star, but I think that's when I kind of got the bump on one of those sites to being a 5-star. But yeah, it could change. But again, Q, I wouldn't get wrapped up in that, man. I mean, it's fun when you're being competitive against other schools about finishing with the top class. All that's cool. But at the end of the day, man, I always urge people, trust what you see, right? Go off your eyes. Just go watch the tape, right? I mean, that will tell you more than really any of these sites will. In my opinion, I believe in going off a tape. But no, this dude is he's a junior in high school and he's a really good player.
You're going to tell me a junior in high school is the same level or going to be just as good as that guy? I mean, that just kind of blew me away. I mean, I'm like, Julio Jones is a game changer. He's a one in a lifetime player. We don't know what this kid's going to do. I mean, he looks good. The tape looks good as a junior. I want to see his senior year tape. I want to see what he does this year. But that ain't the reason I call. The reason I call is, man, I'm getting killed up here in Big Ten country because everybody's telling me that Nick Saban's still pulling the strings. That's why we get all these recruits. Nick Saban. And
Is
then
that
now I got some receipts because I just heard old dude speak his knowledge about, hey, maybe DeBoer is out there coaching. He's recruiting not just this area. He's recruiting everywhere. And Nick Saban didn't always go up to doggone New York, Pennsylvania, doggone Iowa. Well, he went to Iowa because he went and got old boy that transferred and left and came back and left. So he went and got him. So don't get me wrong with that. But, my other question was this. You out there, your eyes on the ground. You seeing what's going on. Cole Adams, is he still on the team? Is he healed up? Is he playing? Going to play this season?
Yeah. No. He's still there, man. I think it's just so much attention on a number of guys, and then you just have so much depth. It's just, you know how it goes when a guy gets hurt, and sometimes the attention goes and transfers on to other guys. But I think he's healing up just fine, and he should be ready to roll.
I see him being a punt returner. Him and Bakwe probably going to fight for the punt returner position. So unless that Lazier, whatever he got, name is you're telling me about a few weeks ago, unless he's got some shake to him, I mean, that's what I'm seeing. But it's just so many receivers, and I can't understand. Here we go with more 5-star receivers. There's only one football. These guys better come in and play good and go to the league because you can't keep all these receivers. I mean, I know what you're saying.
Well, I guess you can because they kept all the guys they had during the spring, man. So you got to tip your hat to Coach DeBoer, man. Again, I think it all boils down to the culture, man. These dudes, they love playing with each other here, and it clearly is something that is special to them. And that's honestly, that's probably one of the biggest takeaways right now of what Coach DeBoer is doing is establishing his culture. And I think that's what's really going to determine his success, which is a good thing because he's doing a great job at it. He's already going into year 2, really, put roots on the ground with his culture here, and guys are buying into it. But in terms of your question about Coach Saban, he's not pulling the strings. I know people on the outside looking in just try to just take away from everything else. Now, is he still involved in some capacity, maybe in terms of kids and their families can stop by his office and sit down and talk with him? Because why wouldn't they want to meet the GOAT, right? The guy they grew up watching and admire. Yeah, he's still around. Look, Alabama's paying him $500,000 annually. I know we're paying him for everything he did, but at the same time, I mean, he's got to do a little something here and there. So, yeah, he probably is available.
That's why they're saying that, because he's still got an office. They're seeing pictures of people, players taking pictures with him.
Exactly. They see the pictures, which, again, those are the main pictures people are uploading, but it's because Coach Saban is like a figure to these people, right? Like everybody for that. Like people want to meet Coach Saban. They want his autograph. They want to take a picture with him, and rightfully so. He is the greatest college football coach of all time. That being said, just because you see that on social media, just because those recruits have that luxury and are doing that, that's not why they're committing to a school. I would urge people to think with some sense. And I'm talking about the people that aren't Bama fans that are using that as an excuse. All it is just that they're here. They're being recruited by Kalen DeBoer, Courtney Morgan, position coaches, all the recruiting personnel, like, Bob, Kerry, all these people that are in constant communication. They're doing all the recruiting, but when they come on a visit, can they go visit with Coach Saban and meet him and, take pictures? Yeah, sure. But he is not actively recruiting anybody. He is not on the road. He is not. No. That is ridiculous. He's not doing any of that.
Hey, you come up here and find a Notre Dame or IU fan, Indiana fan, they're going to say, they're cheating. See, they got Saban out there. That's why they're getting all these players. I was like, man, shut up, man. Come on. This is Alabama. Everybody wants to come play at Alabama. But, hey, Roll Tide, you guys be safe out there tomorrow. Some of y'all going to be out there on the water like me, playing on jet skis and having fun. But, hey, just be sure to wear your safety vest. Make sure, tip your waiters, drink moderate, drink plenty of water, no Roman candles, no bottle rockets,
No. Yeah, stay away from that unless you're doing it in a very safe manner, right? Yeah, don't do what we were doing as
kids.
kids.
Dogs, man, make sure your dog go get in the bathtub or whatever, they got to do to calm their nerves because, it ain't cool. But hey, you guys take care. Christian, thanks for the information. Tia,
Always,
quit
brother.
making people mad in the chat. Quit making people mad in the chat, Tia. Stop it.
Nah,
QD, keep representing.
nah, she's just chilling, man. No worries, brother. Q, we appreciate you, man. You have a great 4th of July, man. Be safe.
Hey, take care, guys. See you.
Yes, sir. We'll see you, brother. All right, let's do this. Let's hit another timeout. We come back. We go back to the phone lines. We got Robbie Glenn up next. We'll talk with him. We got Ellis, and we'll keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Y'all are funny in the comments, man. Christian sound like Trump taking questions from CNN. No, man, guys, stop, man. Look, my rant wasn't that bad. I'm sorry, but sometimes, man, you just gotta stand up for yourself, man. I've gotten to a point, man. I'm not gonna just let people. Nah, man. It's like something over. Like I could understand if, like, look, y'all hear how my dad can be, right? I can understand if it's like, he's really, been outspoken at times. But if we're at a point where we're upset over someone just says, "Oh, I don't see that exact comparison," but we're complimenting all the other traits and things like that, even though it shouldn't even be about, showering compliments. It's a football breakdown. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? It's like no different. Like if someone's breaking down my tape and if they made a comment like needs to be not my senior tape, by then I clean that up, but come out of high school, if they make comments like, long frame that can put on, but we'll need to put on weight and add strength. And if somebody was trying to compare me to, I don't know, something like Von Miller, just something that like, I would not be mad if someone said, "Oh, well, I don't necessarily see that, but definitely he does this well, this well, this well." Like, come on, man. Tia, you must be drinking early. You just talking crazy. Why do you keep talking about where I was rated at? Are you trying, like, if you're trying to, like, get a reaction out of me, I already told you guys, I don't care about that rating. I didn't even know that, I didn't even realize that I actually still was or whatever is a 5. I didn't look at or pay attention to any of that. That's why you saw my reaction. That's why I was like, "Oh, damn, I didn't realize they had me listed as a 4-star on that list." I didn't know the difference of it being composite or what's it called? That's why I was telling you guys, I don't go around and tell people, "Oh, I was a 5-star recruit." I don't think I've ever even said that. I think I mentioned like, "Oh, I think on one side I might have been a 5-star," because you'll have people ask, "Oh, what were you rated out of high school?" But yeah, no, I think I was really mostly a 4-star. But again, I mean, that don't mean anything. You're trolling. No, I know you are. I was like, she must be trolling today. We have the biggest and best recruits. We have the biggest and best facility. They don't know it. Oh, Jesus. Oh, doing an impersonation. Y'all are wild, man. Okay, see, I like that.
Again, that's Brian Hall.
Resembles more of a Mike Evans than maybe like a Julio. Mike is
There's Edge on Tide 100.9.
That's what I'm saying, T. Smitty. Like, yes, I would say like on tape, the vibes do fit a little bit more of that or lean a little bit more that way. And that's a great comparison. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, people are silly, bro. But yeah, I would say he leans a little bit more like that on tape right now. And welcome back into Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch sport experts. Don't forget about our friends over at R&R Cigars. You got 4th of July. Obviously, you want to light fireworks, but a lot of you are going to be on the lake, on the water. How about light a cigar? Go ahead and head on over to R&R Cigars, 2703 Gary Fitz Street here in Tuscaloosa. You can check them out. Visit the mansion right there. Best humidor in the Southeast, as you guys can see right here. If you go on the website and use code Miller's Edge, you get 20% off your orders, plus $100 or more on your order. You do get free shipping as well. Great deals. And when you go there in person, they got over 160 bourbons that you can try, hang out, relax, watch sports, But go get yourself ready for tomorrow on the 4th of July. Head on over to R&R Cigars. They've got great deals going on. Go ahead and get you a nice cigar for the 4th of July. I'm sure they probably got some special ones just for that. So check them out. Again, that is R&R Cigars, the official cigar provider of Alabama football since 2014. Lewis says there's a lot of hating on this young man who's trying to do a sport. She'll be proud of who you are and what you accomplished. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't even think it probably was a very, very tiny whatever. People that are just, who knows, man. I don't know. But I appreciate that. Shout out to Lewis, man, or Luis. It should be Lewis, but I do understand, sometimes with some Spanish pronunciation, you got a little bit Luis, but that's more of a Lewis, if I'm not mistaken. All right, let's go back to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. We got Robbie Glenn up next. Robbie, welcome in.
Hey, what's going on, Christian?
What's up, Robbie? How are you, man?
I'm doing okay. Just listening to the show and, all this hype and the recruiting. It's awesome. You love to hear it, but it's always going to be like that at Bama, especially now you're excited again. And when you have great 5-stars coming in, you're going to get compared to some of the greats that have been at Bama, especially with his size. He's going to get compared to Julio. Not saying he's going to be Julio, but you always said it's like a brotherhood there. He's going to get, I think that's motivation for him to be like him. Not necessarily be Julio, but he's going to be able to probably talk to Julio a few times and find out what made him great, besides the obvious. Like, how did he study film? What did he do to take care of his body? Like, all those stuff he's going to have available to him to make him great. Don't you think? Like, that should be motivation right there if you're being compared.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for example, when I was here, I mean, we always had guys coming back, working out. I mean, just last week, you had guys like, and I know they just recently left, but still, Dallas Turner, Q Robinson, they were both in the building. I know they probably spent some time with the outside linebacker room. When I was here, I mean, I would see guys like Drake Kirkpatrick. Reuben Foster would be coming back. A lot of guys came back. So you'd always be around a lot of those guys and always could pick their brains. Now, obviously, Julio's retiring. So, look, there's still going to be opportunities to see a guy like Julio. I mean, Julio was up here, I think, for A-Day maybe, or if not A-Day, he was here recently. But anyway, that being said, yeah, he will have those opportunities, and I think that'd be good. Look, I think he should model his game after Julio. I mean, they are big body receivers, and obviously, who wouldn't want to be like Julio? I just was talking about from a tape perspective. That was just my comparison. Somebody that I think it was Smitty. He mentioned like a guy like Mike Evans, right? And I could see, like, to me, they might lean a little bit more towards a Mike Evans and a Julio, which, again, we're still talking about a dude that's a future Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? I think sometimes, unfortunately, and they're not just Bama fans, all fans that are so passionate, they hear something and they're just so hell-bent on thinking, oh, well, that sounds like it's, going against my team, my players. But they don't realize it literally just saying maybe not that specific guy, but another guy who literally is just as good and had a hell of a career too. Just silly, man.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting to hear all that. I mean, we are good for Coach DeBoer to take over and just getting this recruiting class going. And I was looking at the 2008 recruiting class, and there were some big names in that one with Julio and all those guys back then, and Mark Ingram, it's hard to. This class is going to be special. But they got to show up, they got to study film, they got to work out. And let's see how they do. But I'm excited for this year. You brought up Reuben Foster. Do we have a big hitter on defense this year like him, and one that can play within the rules and not get targeting? And because I know it's hard now, but you got any guys like that on defense right now?
Man, I like Justin Jefferson, honestly, man. I mean, he actually did ironically get a targeting penalty last year, but to me, ever since he even got here from JUCO, he's always just kind of been that heat-seeking missile, that guy that just goes after it. He's going to attack the football, and he plays hard, and he's fast, right? He's not the biggest dude, but because he's so fast, he's very explosive, and he will look to take your head off if he can. I would say if I had to pick one guy, he kind of gives me that vibe. I mean, obviously, Deontay Lawson's a heck of a football player. He's a really smart guy. Coming off that injury, I mean, I'm still expecting really big things from him. But if I had to pick one, especially the linebacker spot, I would probably say Justin Jefferson would probably resemble the most. Now, obviously, I'm not comparing anybody to Reuben because Reuben is just different. But in terms of that, instinct of just trying to go hit somebody like that, yeah, I would probably lean towards Justin Jefferson.
Oh, good. I'll be watching that then.
No
Oh,
doubt.
yeah, well,
You got any plans? You and
happy
Stryker got any
Fourth.
good plans for the 4th?
We will be around the house because we'll be back in the hospital Sunday with Stryker. He had a bad week, and because it's a holiday week, they didn't want him coming in. Of course, they got doctors and nurses, but the test they want to run, they don't have enough techs. So hopefully he'll stay good the rest of this week. But we'll be in Sunday through Tuesday doing a bunch of tests to see what's going on with him. But we will be around the house. Hopefully the fireworks won't get too bad. I know you're worried about your dogs, but we also worry about Stryker when they start setting them off by the house. He can hear them, and it kind of sets him off too a little bit. Kind of scares him.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, that's why I mentioned. I mean, anybody's affected by them, man. They can be a lot. I understand, but definitely praying for you guys, man. I hope you guys do have a good 4th, and hopefully, when you do get to head back, to the hospital and get those tests done, man. Praying for some good results for our buddy Stryker, man.
Yeah, we hope so. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Roll
Absolutely,
Tide,
Robbie.
happy 4th.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide, buddy. Happy 4th. All right, we got to hit a timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling. Right here, we'll go back to the phone lines. We got Ellis, we got Tommy. We're coming to you right here after this quick timeout on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. That music always gets me, man. Chase, are we doing the show tomorrow, or is the station closed? I wasn't even sure about that. Probably should have. Can we put in a request to the board? Can we please shop for players like Derrick Henry? But see, now we got to be careful, Tia. Now it's like, oh, we're closed. We won't even be on tomorrow. I should have mentioned that. Get a big recruit or a big tall running back recruit. If you say, oh, well, he not necessarily giving me Derrick Henry vibes, everybody's going to, let me stop, man. I'm not going to let a very small amount of people. Oh, wait, Ellis just mentioned us. Let's see what Ellis had to say. Are you still on the phone lines, Ellis? Oh, wow. I'll show you guys what Ellis just shared with us. Blueberries? Those some good looking blueberries, man. I swear, this guy Ellis, man, he just lives life, man. He's just always in he's got these great landscapes wherever he goes. How does he find these places? Gotta love Ellis, man. That's funny. Have you seen the Pac-12 is trying to come back to life? What teams they get? Let me look it up. Wait, Texas State? Wait, hold on. Who do they add? Texas State and who else? Wait, Texas State, is that where Ellis's picture looks like AI? It really does. That's what I'm saying, though. But if you know Ellis, he's definitely not using AI.
Harding Construction is woman-owned.
I don't know. Actually, hold on, Ellis. I'm kind of like, hold on, man. That is, now that Tia says that, it is a little bit too good of a picture, brother. Oh, no, it's legit. That's the bush he picked him off of. Dang. I'm jealous, Ellis.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The sky mostly sunny this afternoon. The high today around 90. Clear tonight below 68. And the weather stays rain-free tomorrow and Saturday. A good supply of sunshine both days. Highs between 90 and 93 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 87 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Hated and like them.
This is Miller's Edge.
Yeah, I feel like you definitely got a lot of beef too. And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. All right, so we won't be live tomorrow. So this is our last show of the week. So let me just go ahead and say this because we're going to finish the rest of the way on the phone lines. Hope you guys have a great, safe, all the above 4th of July tomorrow. Make sure you guys are careful and have a good time, but always be safe. Remember that. Don't do anything dumb. Please don't. We want to make sure you guys are back here Monday for another great show, and as we keep on rolling. And then, especially, all jokes aside, be safe on the road. Obviously, we know people are going to be having a good time, but normally what comes with that is people, they tend to make bad decisions when they've had drinks, and they might be operating vehicles when they shouldn't. Number one, I urge you guys, do not do that. There's a reason that Uber and Lyft and all that was invented. Do not get behind the wheel if you've been drinking, and if you do have to drive, especially in the later hours, please, please, please be careful because there always, are people that are going to unfortunately make that decision. So make sure you guys take care of yourselves, man. We want to make sure all of our listeners and all our supporters are safe this weekend. Unfortunately, it seems like there's always something, on 4th of July. So please just make smart decisions. Thank you. All right, we got to go back to the phone line, 205-342-9904. We got Ellis up next. Ellis, welcome in.
What's up?
Ellis, hold on one second. Let me stop you there, Ellis. Is that a real picture you tagged us in? Because you got folks accusing you of using AI, man. It looks too good to be true.
Which one?
I guess both. Number one, you got 2 baskets full of fresh blueberries that look amazing. And then the next one is like you got the landscape photo with like the low clouds and just the nice pasture out there. Ellis, where the hell are you at, man?
That was yesterday a place where I work at out in the country. Big farms, like 700 something acres.
Wow.
I sent you another where me and his dog was walking inside a cave.
Did you? Wait, hold on. I gotta go. Wait. When did you send that? When was that?
It's a video.
Let me go on your profile. Wait, whose dog is that?
It's the guy that I work for. It's his dog, but that dog loves me to death.
Wait. Ellis, where the hell is it? Where? Hold on. You can't do this to me right now, man. Why is there a dog walking in the cave? Ellis, where the hell are you at?
Here in Tennessee, not about 10 miles from my house.
Y'all just have random caves that dogs explore?
Oh, yeah, I explore. You get so far up in there, though, it gets over waist deep. And it's like 56 degrees year round.
Well, that could be good to do. I have that. We work with the Polar Dive. It's an ice plunge company. That's really good. There's a lot of benefits from ice baths. It looks like you can kind of do that naturally with this cave. 56 degrees. I think that's about it. Wow.
Yeah. You come up, I'll take you up in there.
That's where we might have to. I might live through the videos. As cool as it looks, taking me in a cave, brother. We might have to just keep it. You can FaceTime me, but I don't know if I want to be in no cave, Ellis. I'm weird about closed off spaces like that, man.
Well, it's huge in there. Let me tell you, it is huge.
You look, that probably is wow. That is really cool, though. That is cool. Maybe one day I'll get the courage to go in something like that, but I don't know. The caves kind of freak me out. I don't know.
Oh, I love that, though, because it's cool. You're not burning up, What's them things you call, is it stalagmites? Them things that hang down from the ceiling?
The what?
You know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
I'll have to take a picture of one that the guys got that come out of the cave. It hangs down from the ceiling of it, yes. It's pretty amazing. Like I said, he's got 720-something acres out there, so.
Dang, yeah, that's nice, man. That's real nice.
Turkeys, deer, snakes, you name it.
I can imagine so. Wow.
Cool though. But What about the recruiting? What do you think about that?
Look, man, I think we're doing a hell of a job. I think we're hot on the trail right now. That stat we just pulled up, what was it? 10 recruits in 11 days, 4 of them being 5 stars, man. Biggest thing is, keep it rolling. Get them signed in December and develop them when they get here, man. You got to do it all again next year, man. But they're doing a hell of a job.
Yes, and Auburn's doing a hell of a job crying.
Yeah,
we're not doing it the right way and all that. We're cheating. That's how we're getting all of it.
Did they? But wait, did they mention school specifically, or they just were speaking generally?
Oh, he freeze. He was talking about Alabama when he mentioned that. I think yesterday. We're doing it the right way. And they're not.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, from what I know, if anything, they were the ones, kind of doing things outside of the norms, right? So I don't know what he's going for with that, but who knows? Who knows?
It's Auburn food. It's little brother.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, you're gonna get a kick anytime you can take a shot at them.
Oh yeah, I mean hit them hard. You got
funny.
to.
You got any plans for tomorrow?
I'm going to Nashville, Tennessee.
Nice. That'll be fun. Well, make sure you're safe out there, brother.
Well, they got a humongous fireworks show. It's the biggest in the United States, they say.
Dang, that'll be cool, man. Well, I know you'll get plenty of pictures and videos, man. I'll definitely be on the lookout for them.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be hot, but that's okay. I'm gonna be right down there in the middle of it.
Hydrator, get you some of these, man. Get you some good hydration drinks.
I need to. Water hydrates you, but you need something that really replenishes what you've
Electrolyte,
out. And, yes.
Absolutely.
So what's a good one to get that's not real sugary, Christian?
I'll give a shameless free plug real quick, man. I drink Body Armor Zero Sugar. They don't have sugar and they've got plenty of electrolytes, but I like drinking those, man. I always stock up on them.
Well, I try to stay away from the sugary drinks.
Yeah, me too, man. That's a good thing. I stay away from it too. So I always go zero sugar. I know sometimes they say, "Oh, well, artificial sugar is not good," but I think this one's a pretty solid drink. I haven't heard too much negative about it, but Ellis, I hope you're safe tomorrow, man. I'm gonna try to get Tommy on here for about 2 minutes before we get out of here.
All right, roll tide, Tommy.
Yes, sir. Roll tide, Ellis. All right, Tommy, you with us?
Yeah, man, roll tide, Ellis. You don't watch Ellis. He really lives in a cave. He hangs upside down. No wonder he didn't know what stalactite was, but no, he'll sing you a picture of food. Oh, heaven, yeah. Well, Tommy, look what I had last night. Really, I will let me know. I really don't like Ellis because he sent me food pictures all the time.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I mean, we're watching this video from the cave that he sent us, and I'm in disbelief. I mean, I feel like every week he's on a new adventure, man. You can't make this stuff up.
Oh, yeah, he loves to go hiking and exploring on weekends, yeah. Yeah, he does a lot of that, yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Well, I'm happy with recruiting. I just want to wish you and your dad, all the staff, a happy 4th of July and a safe one.
Man, I appreciate that, Tommy. You got any plans? You and your brother got anything for tomorrow?
We're going to go out and probably go over my cousin's house. Nothing spectacular, no. No, you're going to take it easy.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, man. Kick back, relax, man. You deserve it, brother.
All right, stay on the heat. Roll Tide. I'll talk to you Monday, man.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Roll Tide, Tommy. Good deal. All right, well, good stuff, man. Well, that'll about do it for us on this July 4th Eve, man. We got to make room for Wyatt, T-Town Sports Daily. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us next week. We'll jump right back into it after a nice 4th of July weekend. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope you guys are safe. Hope you guys enjoy, eat plenty of great food, enjoy some fireworks, and ultimately, again, man, are safe. That's what matters most. Appreciate everybody. Chase White behind the glass, all our listeners over on YouTube, on Facebook, of course, on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. This has been the Miller's Edge presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. We'll see you guys Monday.